Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story. The Karen That Wasn't. Let me preface this by saying that this is not my story. It is my friend's, but I was with him at the time it happened. We were at this shopping center buying stuff for our annual camping/fishing summer trip a couple of years before the world went mad. As both of us were already almost done with the needed goodies and just had to buy some extra cans, one folding camping chair and possibly a thermos. I can't recall the exact things to save my life and it doesn't really matter. We were in our off-road outfits, leather boots, camel clothes and backpacks. An older gentleman was in the side aisle as us, and his cart was left a little away from him, as he didn't want to push it all the way. He was using a walking cane. He then approached us and asked us where the croissants were. We had already passed the food area and we also knew that in order for him to get there, he would have to limp over to his cart and then all the way back to us and to the other aisle. My friend asked him if that was his cart, and the gentleman nodded and pointed at it. My friend then said, "Stay here, I'll get it for you," and quickly went and got it. The old man said thanks and went on with his shopping. Enter the woman. As my friend and I returned to our browsing, we saw what I can easily describe as the most beautiful woman I have seen in my life. Just a tad younger than us. Long straight blonde hair, the bluest and whitest eyes that ever existed on a human. Tall, slim, extremely well dressed, classy black heels, the kind of woman you'd think only exists after a few weeks of extensive Photoshop effort. Apparently, she had seen my friend run to get the gentleman's cart, because she threw the bluest glance towards us, raised her hand, and I kid you not, snapped her fingers and pointed towards her own cart. We looked at each other and my friend actually looked at himself, his camel clothes and leather boots, and looked back at me with a "Dude, what?" look on his face, while I was mouthing a silent wow back at him. We did nothing. She then took a longer look at us, raised a perfectly done eyebrow and said with a voice like a steel fist in a velvet glove, "Well?" My friend, always the witty one, said, "I actually am well, thanks. Aren't you going to get my car to the register?" she asked, her eyes never leaving his face, obviously making him uncomfortable. "Why?" he said, unsure how to react. "Isn't that your job?" Years of hearing stories on this sub and 500 plus videos on YouTube came crashing in. She thought we worked there. We often exchanged links and watched/read stories together. So we knew. We also knew that the only way to shut down a situation like this is to out-Karen the Karen. From this point on, I was just an observer. He tells her, "I'm sorry, miss, I don't work here." "What do you mean?" "I don't work here." "Well, I don't work here," with claps on every word. She puffed, turned around on her heels and started walking away so fast it looked like those 1000% sped up jump scare gifs. She got like 50 feet away, then she stopped. She walked back to us. I thought to myself, holy hell, here we go again. She said to him in a stern voice that demanded attention, "Listen, I am praised for impact." She took a press and said, "I just want to apologize." Huh? My brain gears screamed begging for some WD-40, like, Karen apologizes? What? I can see my friend is as baffled as a giraffe at a typewriter. He tells her, "There is no need," and she tells him, "I'm sorry. Really, miss, it's not." "I am sorry. But, I am sorry. With claps on every word. I couldn't take it anymore. I burst out laughing. I haven't laughed like that since I can remember. I fell to my knees. I got tears in my eyes, boogers coming out, the whole shebang. It was the funniest thing ever. Seeing my friend's mouth open and close several times only made it even harder. I then saw that she can hardly contain her own laughter. Finally, the absurdity of the situation hit my friend as well, and he roared his own way down to the floor next to me, laughing his butt off. Turned out, she wasn't a Karen after all. She just honestly thought we worked in the outdoor aisle in our outdoor clothes. I was just trying to apologize after the first time he told her that was not the case, but did not let her finish a sentence in his effort to out-Karen the Karen. What happened after that, you ask? They are expecting their second child this autumn. Next story. So you want me to put it in a tray? This happened several years ago, so a bit of a background. I lift my left leg from the knee down over in some jungle, so they let me have a bionic one. Anyway, I got a new one just a couple of years back, and the doc at the time told me in order to save myself some grief, when traveling, especially when flying, I should let the TSA agent know that I had a prosthetic leg. They even gave me a little card that looked like a little miniature X-ray to show them. So anyway, I'm in line waiting and I finally get to the table where the plastic bins are at. I start loading all my stuff in a bin and tell the TSA lady behind the table that I have a prosthetic leg. She gets about half smart and says, "Put it in the bin." I said, "Excuse me?" To which she goes full on witty and says, "Just put it in the bin and keep moving." I hop up on the table while she's facing away, putting more bins up, and start removing my leg. Just to show how smug this lady was, she didn't even notice. Of course, I make it look a lot harder than it actually is. Been taking it off and putting it on for years. To the amusement of all those in line behind me, and the TSA guy on the other side of the walk-through scanner, I drop it in the bin, making sure that it gets the attention of Miss Smug TSA lady. Then I start hopping to and through the scanner on one leg. I think it was at this point, judging from the look on her face, she realized what I had said. But sorry, Miss Smug. Damage has already been done. All the people who saw it all go down were chuckling, as was the TSA guy who waited for me to hop through the scanner with a big smile. I heard a couple people say, "I guess you'll pay more attention now." Life goes on. I slapped the wheel back on and as I was getting the rest of my stuff out of the bin, a lot of them gave me high fives, including the TSA guy, who also said that this made his day. Next story. Quest for queso. People always tell me I look older than I am. Could it be because I'm 5'11" and always look like I'm mentally troubled? Yeah, usually it's cool because I never get questioned about curfew and was able to be on my own when adult supervision is recommended. But sometimes it makes people question me and it can be tiring. I tend to do the grocery shopping in my house because I memorize the layout of all the stores in the area and know the quickest way through the store with maximum efficiency. I call it my autistic superpower. I think I'm funny. Because of this, sometimes I return things I find to the areas they are supposed to go. The other day I went to my local grocery store wearing a polo that has my work logo on it, my rain jacket with my work logo on it, my bag with my work logo on it. It is very clear to figure out where I work if you look at me. I ran in to get some more stuff so I can go help my mom make dinner. So it's just a small basket. As I'm going from meat to rice to pasta, I see someone chucked a bag of pizza crust in the section where the ground beef is. I pick them up to put them back on my way over, and I hear someone yell out, "Excuse me." I ignore it, assuming there is someone else behind me. "Excuse me, why is there nobody at the..." Do you have headphones in at work? I did not know they let people do that now. I take out my earbud because I have been mean and I might as well be nice. I see an older woman behind me. She looks like she had a far walk inside, and she's quite wet. She's got a sour look on her face and I feel bad because I hate being soaking wet. Oh, hi ma'am. Is there something I can help you with? Why is there nobody at the deli counter? I'm trying to find my grandson's favorite cheese, but I'm lost. I know things have been hard, but at least someone on the cheese and meat will be good. Oh, I don't work here. I might be able to help you find it over there. Oh, of course you do. Look at you in your little uniform. All professional looking, even putting things back. Oh no, I actually work for X, but one of the things we always say is leave the world better than you found it, even if it's outside of your world. Oh, I'm sorry for bothering you then. Your polos look very close in color. They were not. I spent a bit of time talking to this lady and found out that she was colorblind and lived with her grandchildren. She would throw in a party to celebrate one of them getting into college. I was worried that she wasn't going to be cool enough for his friends. I helped her finish her shopping, and she was so thankful. She bought me one of those mini cakes and told me she's proud of me for getting into college too. I lost my grandmother a while back. Safe to say, when I left, I sat in my car and, well, cried for a bit. It was really nice. Next story. Terrible boss gets his comeuppance. The setting. High volume independent tire shop in northern New England, circa 2012. We will call it 123 Tire. The target. Evil general manager, we will call him Jay. The aggrieved parties. Basically everybody that worked there at the time, but mainly myself and the receptionist. We will call her Ruth. Backstory. So Jay had been the general manager of 123 Tire since he got the previous GM fired in 2004. He was/is a complete narcissist who believed he could do no wrong. And if you did not agree with him, God help you. Over the years, Jay had done a number of illegal things. For example, he was always very physical with his employees. One time, he was wrestling with another salesman. This was commonplace and unavoidable if you valued your job, and the salesman, we will call him Paul, took a bad fall and broke his knee. In order to avoid the ire of the owner, we will call him Lou, Jay immediately clocked Paul out and told him to go to the hospital. He also told Paul to use his own insurance and that the company would pay the deductible in order to avoid a messy workers' comp claim. Paul did as he was told and kept his job, but his knee was never the same and he ended up addicted to opioids thanks to Jay's action. Jay also had an affinity for the ladies. Now I must mention here that Jay is an ultra-conservative Christian father of 11 children, who believes that a woman's place is uneducated, barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen. That being said, several female receptionists came and went over the years with only Rue sticking around because she needed the money and begrudgingly accepted the regular sexual harassment. When he wasn't behaving inappropriately with every lady that walked in the door, he was behaving inappropriately with every other employee. Want to leave early on a slow day? Wrestle the biggest guy in the shop for it. Jay was big on wrestling. I suspect Jay may have also been wrestling with his daughters, but couldn't prove it. The guy was a real creep. Big guy isn't on that day. Buy him a pizza. Trying to have lunch. Expect Jay to throw food at you. Want to schedule a vacation? Tough. He'll let you know the week before if you can take it. He was a complete child, and I put up with him for 6 long years because I couldn't let him win. The setting. It was the summer of 2012 and Ruth and I had had enough. Jay was completely out of control as usual, now telling me, a Latino, that if Obama won re-election, that he would make my work life hell come November. Bruce was going through a divorce and he was trying to move in on her. For the record, Bruce hated Jay's guts. It was time to hit him where it hurt. Bruce was ready to drop a lawsuit for sexual harassment on Jay and 123 Tire, and I was ready to drop one for constructive discharge. Now, suing an employer doesn't exactly look good on one's CV, but we were both at wit's end. The revenge. Bruce and I decided one evening that Jay's ultra-conservative values must be shared by his wife and family. As he was always working, his wife must be the one who goes to the mailbox every day. I created a throwaway email and got him a Bill Me Later subscription to Hustler magazine and Playboy and Penthouse. Fast forward a couple of weeks and he comes in looking like this warmed over. Turns out, Mrs. J did not appreciate his new taste in reading material, and he's now living in a motel in the next town over. Now, he's not saying that his wife kicked him out. He's far too much of a narcissist for that, but I could put two and two together. He's decided that he's done with his wife and 11 children, and that he is going to start a new life with Ruth. After all, her divorce is going to be finalized at the end of this week. It was at this point that Lou's sister, co-owner of 123 Tire, and not a big fan of Jay, we will call her Liz, overheard him talking to Ruth in a less than business appropriate manner. Liz later took Ruth aside and got the straight poop on what had been happening for the last several years, and that was that. The next morning, Lou called Jay to his office and was far kinder than I would have been. Jay was to lose his title of GM and go to work in another 123 Tire location an hour away until the end of the year. Beginning in 2013, Jay would need to find another employment. Jay was not also to contact the location that he had overseen and worked in for years. Also, the location that Jay was relocated to added an hour to his already hour-long commute. I suspect that Lou also encouraged Jay to reconcile with his wife, which Jay did. The epilogue. Jay ended his employment with 123 Tire in January of 2013 and never suspected any involvement from me. In fact, to this day, he stays in occasional contact with me. He went on to work for another tire store, this one a corporate chain, as a store manager. Put his house on the market, bought a new one closer to his new employer and everything. A year later, he was fired after bringing a 7-figure lawsuit on them. They settled out of court, and he moved back to the house he was in before, as it hadn't sold. Jay's next job was 5 minutes from his home, and his new boss was, well, the guy that Jay had gotten fired back in 2004. That one lasted a couple of years until Jay gave up on finding employment in the area and moved himself and the whole family to the Midwest sometime around 2016. Now in the Midwest, Jay has been unable to keep a job in a car business for more than a year, and as soon as each of his kids turns 18, they seem to move right back to the area they grew up in. His New England home sold in 2019 for less than he bought it for. Bruce still works for 123 Tire and is very happy there now. The icing on the cake? In early 2021, I finally left my job at 123 Tire, sold my house, and became a full-time RVer. I've seen 47 US states, including the Midwestern state and town that Jay now resides in. I looked him up when I got there, and he came to see me after he got out of work in my new RV. He said, "Boy, you must really think something of me to look me up and want to see me all the way out here." If he only knew half of it. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.